Hi everyone, welcome to the Dreamer'S Athens journey part 2. So if you have not checked out part 1, please do go and check out part 1 before you see this one. So in part 1 we ended with the footage of me walking towards the Parthenon. So now here we are right at the foot of the Parthenon. I climbed up the Acropolis. Now you can see all the city of Athens beneath me, and as I was walking up, like I said in the previous video, it's important that you have a good footwear because it's a marble temple and it can be quite slippery if you're not careful. Thankfully the weather was great, it was not wet or any of such which would have added to the risk of falling off. So I wanted to kind of read a bit about the Parthenon, and I came across this information about Parthenon. The Parthenon is a marble temple that was built between 447 and 432 BC during the height of the ancient Greek Empire. It was dedicated to the Greek goddess Athena, hence the city called as Athens. The Parthenon sits high atop a compound of temples known as the Acropolis of Athens. So in the previous video I mentioned how the word Acropolis came from the word akron, which means highest place. So it was the largest and most lavish temple the Greek mainland had ever seen. Throughout the centuries, the Parthenon withstood earthquakes, fire, wars, explosions, and looting, yet remains. Although battered, a powerful symbol of ancient Greece and Athenian culture, today is one of the most recognized buildings in the world and an enduring symbol of ancient Greece. So they have dedicated this temple to the goddess of Athena, which is a goddess of wisdom, which makes sense because the Greek philosophy, the philosophers that came out of Greece, has been quite a poignant part of this world's philosophy. But as you can see that the structure, this building has over the years lost its part, and because it is standing on a surface that can erode away. In the 1970s, the Greek government got serious about restoring this rapidly deteriorating Acropolis and the Parthenon, which had become one of the country's national treasures. They appointed an archaeological committee called the Acropolis Restoration Project. So with Greek architect Manolis Koros at its helm, the committee painstakingly charted every relic in the ruins and used computer technology to identify their original location. So the restoration team plans to supplement original Parthenon artifacts with modern materials that are weather resistant, corrosion resistant, and will help support the integrity of the structure. Where needed, new marble from the quarry where the original marble was obtained will be used. Still, the Parthenon will not be restored to its original glory. Instead, it will stay a partial ruin and will feature design elements and artifacts that reflects this rich, diverse history. So, as you can see that there were parts, you can only see remnants of the descriptions, the Roman times and over the years and different rulings, and it's also a site of democracy for Athens, and you can see that there's building restoration going on. A large part of the Parthenon was had scaffolding for it to actually be restored as well, which has been barricaded so that the tourists won't go to that part and cause any disturbance in its building as well. So earlier I mentioned the time period that the Parthenon was built, which is very significant because the Parthenon is also a symbol of democracy in Greece, in Athens. This is because it provides an insight into both the triumph over the Persians in the Persian Wars between 492 to 449 BCE, and the Greek celebration of democracy, and also it demonstrates the importance of religion in ancient Greek society. The Persian Wars consisted of about 3 decisive battles that are depicted on the walls of the Parthenon, because the battles of Marathon, Thermopylae, and Salamis greatly impacted ancient Greek society. The Parthenon was said to be both a symbol of these triumphs over the Persians and a symbol of the Athenian pride in their creation of a series of political reforms which they call democracy, meaning rule by the people. Now this also makes sense since the goddess Athena is a goddess of wisdom and war, and it's therefore Parthenon stands as a monument to democracy that has withstood the trials and tribulation of history. The Parthenon is a massive place of worship with complex intricacies. It was built and decorated so rapidly it amazed even the ancients, and that's why even to this day that even the modern world is in awe of this structure that's been built. And I personally, who is a lover and absolutely fascinated by history and architectures of history, who really cares about the preservation of the ancient artifacts and ancient history, absolutely awestruck all the time by the beauty that still remains and still preserved in regions like this. From my research, what I also found out is that the Parthenon itself has a complex history. It has been a temple, a church, a mosque, and is now an archaeological site. It has sustained significant damage throughout its long history, in particular as a result of an explosion while it was in use as an ammunition store in 1687. This left the Parthenon as a ruin. So around 50% of the original architectural decoration on the Parthenon is now lost, having been destroyed over many centuries in the ancient world and later. So this structure not only is related to democracy, but also has been a significant part of war and religion as well. Now, after my touring up in the Parthenon. This is me walking up to the Areopagus hill, which is very significant because since it has also a mention of it in the Bible where the Apostle Paul is said to be here, and he had actually walked up to the Parthenon to speak to King Agrippa at the time about his faith in Christ. So this is where I wanted to be, on top of this hill where you can actually have a great night view of the Parthenon, all lit up in its finest glory. And whomever is visiting this part of Athens, you should not miss this glorious view of the entire Athens at night, and also to see and just sit still in the visual glory of the Parthenon and just imagine what it must have been like in the ancient times. So after this, I went down to the Roman Agora, which means the marketplace, the ancient marketplace during that time. And I did mention this in the first part of my journey to the Acropolis. And from here, if you look up, you can see the Parthenon looking down over to this region, actually see everything that was going on in the Agora. So this is my journey to Athens, and I really hope you enjoyed this little video that I made for you. So if you did enjoy this series of videos of Athens, please subscribe, comment, and also share this video, which will really help. Until next time.